Super Saturday. If you did not get your tickets yet, please go on there, onto the site it's posted right in the team page. You can search it in there. If not, just ask. And find a location near you and get out to a Super Saturday. If you are a brand new coach, I strongly, strongly, strongly suggest it. I'm really sad that I'm missing it. I'm only missing it because it's my son's second birthday. It's actually on the 8th. Otherwise, I would totally be there. So get your tickets for Super Saturday. And then for the team shirts, Rose needs that ordered before then, right? You want to type it, or are we good? Get your order through Rose, through her PayPal. She posted it in the team page in Team Arise by this Friday. So if you want your Team Arise shirts, make sure you get your order into Rose by Friday. You could probably just reach out to her. So I don't know much about Andrea. It's really nice to meet you. I'm excited to hear from you. So why don't you take it away?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Awesome.
So I met Rose at the New Leadership in November, right? Was it November or October? And we were just randomly like walking on the street and then we went for sushi. So then that's how we met. And we started talking, and she was friends with my sister. And so she asked me to be on your team call, which I'm super excited about. So I'm just going to share a little bit about my story. And then mainly what I want to do is have you guys get like a pen and paper out, and I'll just give you just some tips on how I got started, kind of what I do every day. And really, I want this to be something that you take away. So when you have action steps, basically, to use and implement some of the things that I'm going to give you and share into your business on a daily basis, because I strongly believe that business comes down to what we do daily. That really is what matters. So my name is Andrea. I live in upstate New York, in Syracuse, in the tundra. And I am a mom of 3 boys. I have a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 6-month-old. So a little baby, and they are, 1 is in school and then 2 are home with me. So I actually got into coaching back in like 2008 was when I actually became a coach. So like right when the network went into coaching, my sponsor asked me to join her, which was actually my mom, which is kind of cool because you kind of do what your mom says, but at the same time, when I was that young, I didn't really want to do what she said. She tried to get me to coach a couple, in the beginning, and I was just one of those persons that took a long time to get going with coaching. So she introduced me to coaching, and my brother is her upline. So my whole family does coaching. My mom is a 3-star diamond. My dad's a 1-star. My brother's like a 6, and my sister's a 5. And which is kind of cool, but I never really thought that would ever happen. So in 2004, when I was 24, right after college, I have an education degree. So I was in elementary education, and I got into the corporate world, and I had a son right after I got out of college. So all of a sudden, I kind of found myself in all this freedom to, oh my gosh, I have to be a mom at 24. I have to work like long hours. I had a husband, and I kind of lost that team feeling. So who has ever like been in a high school team or a college sports team, or just sort of like an accountability group? So that was like a huge part of like how I felt. My health and fitness was just a huge part. And when I got into the role of a new mom and working all the time, all of a sudden I lost that. And I gained, obviously I gained some weight. And my coach, who was my mom, was like, you really need to try Shakeology. You really need to get on, do this P90X program. And I sort of laughed at her. But then I remember like sitting on the couch with my husband, and we were eating chicken wings, and my parents, who are like in their 50s, were rolling around to P90X on the ground. And I was like, what are they doing? And then all of a sudden they each lost 20 pounds. They were like in amazing shape. And my husband and I are sitting there eating chicken wings and like, you know, I gained the baby weight. He needed to gain the baby weight. And I'm like, all right, what am I doing? Like, I really need to get on board with what my mom's saying. So that kind of was like the light bulb for me that these programs really work when I saw my parents who are, you know, at that age be able to do one of those programs. And so I knew that it had to help me and my husband and I get started. So from there, I was kind of one of those people with coaching that I was half in. I was not all in it at all. I kind of went in and out of the business for about like 2-3 years. And in 2013, after having my second son, I got laid off when I was 8 months pregnant. And that's when I was like, okay, I know this coaching opportunity is for real because my brother's a CPA and he showed me what he was making as an income part-time coaching as he was working full-time as a CPA. And it was no joke. It was like, that's twice as what I make as a teacher. And you're making that doing what? And so he kind of showed me what he was doing with the programs that I was already using in the products. But I was that person that didn't want to invite people. I didn't want to share. And I got to a point where I just really wanted to stay home with my kids. And I wanted something that was flexible. So that's kind of where the turning point for me was with coaching. I went to my first summit, which is so important to get to live events, which you guys were talking about Super Saturdays. Huge for me was Super Saturdays. Like I actually went to a couple Super Saturdays before I even got into coaching. I remember being like 7 months pregnant at one of the Super Saturdays. I went and I swear to God, I was like, I'm going to go, but if anybody talks to me, I'm leaving. Like I was just so shy. I was like, I just hope somebody doesn't talk to me. And I don't know if you guys know Tracy Morrow. I don't know what download you're in, but she came up to me and rubbed my belly. And I remember being like, oh my God, I'm out of here. Like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Like, I hope she forgets who I am. And it was kind of cool, like meeting somebody like her. She's from California. She was in the P90X workouts. She's like this multi-millionaire and she's like rubbing my belly and like was just like the most down to earth, normal person. And I was like, okay, you know, just get over your fear. Like, let's start to do this. So I'm going to share with you guys my screen. Let's see. Okay. So one of the biggest things that I think is so important is you need to have a why and a belief. I think it's so important. You know, I never really heard anyone say to me, like, what is your why until, you know, somebody asked me or I got on these like calls. Like, you know, we had a team call, but I was so afraid to get on the team call because I was afraid that somebody was going to like call on me or ask me something. But I would get on and I would like mute and like not see, so nobody could see me. But I started to like pick up on things. And a lot of the things that I learned that helped me create. So, you know, over the past 4 years, I've been able to create over a 6-figure income with coaching. I do this full time now. And one of the biggest things that helped me was getting on the national wake up calls. Those were huge because we didn't really have a team. We didn't really have a system. We didn't really have any training. So a lot of the things that, you know, my mom and I and my brother like created was these training systems. And one of the biggest things obviously is your why. So it's just so important for you to know what it is. And I always tell people, you know, your why is something that is not because you want to help people. I know it sounds kind of weird, but you wouldn't become a coach if you didn't want to help people. It's just in our, like, naturally we want to help people. So your why, it should be something deeper. It should be something like, you know, an income or, you know, or something that's going to help you get to X, you know, Y to Z. You know, for me, it was like I wanted to come home. And I know that was a really strong why. Or in the beginning, it was like, I just want to pay off this insane college debt that I had. So something like that, that's going to, you know, make you want to get up and work hard. So some people say your why should make you cry. I think your why should make you work hard. I think it should make you, you know, have it somewhere clear that's going to make you do the power hours and the work, because at the end of the day, it is a business and it does require work. So you have to have the belief in your gut that you're going to do this every single day. So those are just two things that are really important. The second thing is you have to have a plan. So it's really important to have a plan as a coach. I had 2 little kids at home when I was doing this and working full time. So for me, if I didn't have a plan, then nothing would really come about. So I'm just going to show you guys kind of what I do on a daily basis. Hold on, it's on this other side. Okay. So this is my to-do list that I do pretty much on a daily basis. I really think it's important that you get up and you do personal development. So whatever it is that is what you need to work on. So if you're having a hard time with confidence, I would probably suggest you are a badass. If you are really hung up on the word no, I would highly suggest reading this book, Go for No, Network Marketing. You're going to hear no all the time. I probably hear no probably I don't even know, like 20 times in a day. And typically most people will hear no twice and give up, like 90% of people. But most people don't say yes until about the 7th follow-up. About 60, 70 people will say yes on the 7th follow-up, which is kind of crazy because we think that we're kind of ingrained to hear the word no. And we really need to realize that no just means not right now. So the second thing I do is I get up, I do my workout first thing. That was really important for me as a mom to get it out of the way. And then I post on social media. Always be you. I usually tell my, coaches to pick 5 things that they relate, that help them relate. I'm a busy mom. I'm sometimes a mess. I like to hike. I like to do things outdoors. So I try to relate to things like that. And that's how I find my niche of people. Get people started in a challenge group, get them through the challenge group. That's one of the most important things. And then help them become, coaches. So how do I invite? That's a big question that I get. I'm trying to figure out if, hold on. Why is this? I wanted to go over. So I'm just going to share with you guys how I invite with people. Why is this going? Give me a second. Sometimes I'm not that good with the technology here. Okay. So one of the biggest things for me when I first started was just growing my network of Facebook. So when I first started, I had about 300 friends on Facebook. So I knew that I needed to grow my network. So one of the biggest things that I did was go into different groups. So I went into moms groups because I'm a mom, obviously. I went into hiking groups. I searched on social media. This is how I would do it. So basically we have this search bar up here, and I would type in Syracuse, let's just say Syracuse, New York. Search. I would hit pages, and then I would hit groups. And then I'll pull up Syracuse. Hold on. There we go. And then I would hit groups. So, there is so many people on social media. I'd probably say primarily my entire team of over 3,000 coaches is created from social media. So 95% of my people come from social media. So one of the biggest things I get from coaches is the number one vital behavior is inviting, but they don't know who to invite. But there's literally billions of people on social media, billions. So you just kind of have to pick people that relate to you and your niche. So one of the ways that I did that was just through groups on Facebook. I would go to, local groups, different like runner groups, and I would add myself into the group. And then I would start to be a part of the conversation. When I was pregnant, I added myself to pregnant groups, and I would start to build a relationship with people in there. And then I would send them a friend request. And that's kind of how I grew my page page on Facebook. And then I would if somebody accepted my friend request, I would simply say, hey, thanks so much for the ad. I think we have a lot in common, and I hope you have a great day. And I would just leave it like that. And that's like what I would consider an invite or growing your network of connecting with at least 5 new people per day. It's, sometimes you do have to talk to, your niche of people, and you have to figure out who you are, but then you also have to be reaching out to people. So this is one of the number one things that I didn't do as a new coach that I wish that I did sooner, was just getting out of my comfort zone and finding different people to talk to on social media. So that's primarily how I would grow my network of inviting. And then the second thing that I think is really important is that you're inviting them to something. So I'm going to pull up my marketing plan. So when you have, basically every single month for me and my team is exactly the same. I kind of keep it like super simple. And if we just I have an ongoing free group that if I invite somebody, if I connect with somebody and I'm like, hey, I was wondering if you were interested in joining one of my free fitness groups, you can join, and we go over recipes and share ideas. And if they say yes, then I would add them to my ongoing free group. And then once they were in my free group and they kind of like are posting or like they're behind the scenes, I might ask them, how are you liking your free group? How are you liking the free group? Are you getting any good information from it? And we can kind of talk about, maybe they just bought a new dog or something on Facebook, or, I know that you just did Rose, but like maybe they like went on, somewhere, and I saw that on Facebook that like they went somewhere. Then I just might ask them some questions about them in general. And then I would go for the invite. And when I invite them I want to have a specific date that I'm going to add them to a challenge group. So for me and my team personally, every month is always the same. We always have a challenge group that starts on the first of the Monday of the month. We have a free group, and then we have a second challenge group that starts on like the 3rd or 4th. And then I have a sneak peek into coaching and into what is a challenge group. So when I invite them, let's say today is, the 20th, and let's say the 21st, I would know that I have my next challenge group, which is the first Monday of the month, is April 3rd. So I'd be right now for this week, I'm starting to invite for that next challenge group coming up. I always am inviting like 2 weeks prior to the next challenge group. But if you have a set plan, a monthly marketing plan of when you're going to do challenge groups, when you're going to run a free group, it's a lot easier to send out the invite because, sometimes you're like, well, when's that next group going to be? Or I don't know what to say to them because I don't have a specific group. But when you kind of lay it out like this, it's easier. So I don't know what you guys do on your team, but I typically just, if somebody, we're very like, if let's say Rose had a challenge group starting like next Monday, and I had one girl that I really needed to like get into a challenge group, I'd just reach out to Rose and be like, I saw that you had a challenge group starting. Like, would you mind if I have my coach join? So she has like specific dates to start on, something like that, because, you want to give them a good experience. And so when you have it kind of laid out, it's already easy. And a lot of the girls on our teams, they might pair up with a success partner and run a group together. That's just so much easier because we're not, we have kids and work and different things going on. So if you can pair up with even like 3 people and be like, hey, let's start our challenge group on April 3rd. And let's, if you can post like the first week, and then I'll post the second week, and then you can post the third week. It just breaks it up, and it makes it more fun too, because you're kind of like running it together. And so that's kind of how we lay out our week. Have you guys ever done a what is a challenge group sneak peek? No? Okay. So these are kind of fun. I recently just started doing them in January, because a lot of times when we ask people like, do you want to join our challenge group? They're like, what are you talking about? Like, they don't know exactly, like, we know what a challenge group is because we've done them, but they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I started to run these, what is a challenge group? And I did it with one other girl on my team because it just makes it easier. And they're just 5 short days. So it's just 5 days. And we just share little snippets of what a challenge group is. And it kind of gets those people that are like on the fence about joining a challenge group. It gets them on board because they're like, they get excited in the group. And then you have like the last day and you're like, okay, we're going to start on April 3rd. If you want to join, you got to get your challenge group. You got to get your challenge pack. And then they see other people starting to join, and it kind of gets them excited. So would it help if I showed you one of my groups? Okay. I'm a visual person. And then I can show you, let's see. Okay, so I'll show you the one that I did in February. So what we did was we just kept this open. So you see there's 120 people in there, but we invited people like in December and then in January, and we ran it in January, and then we just changed the name of January, January 20th or January whatever. What is a challenge group? We just changed it to February 20th. What is a challenge group? And then we just kept the same people in there. And actually, we had a bunch of people in January and they didn't decide to do it, but then we ran it again in February and we got some of those people interested. And so I probably invited, I don't know, like 30, 50 people. And I think I had like 3 girls decide to join me on the next challenge group in March. But that's already hitting Success Club, right? That's helping like 3 people. So you would probably think like 3 people out of like 50 is like not that good. But you hit Success Club, you help those 3 people, and you're moving, forward. Okay, so this is pretty simple. We just set up a private group. We invited people into the group, and then we had a guide, like a 5-day guide of like what she would post and what I would post. And then we just kind of shared like, okay, welcome to the group. That's my mom. Like everybody, we did like live, we went live in the group. We kind of shared like different snippets. At this, I'm going backwards. So at the end, it's like, are you ready to join us? And then we kind of shared different things about the recipes. And then we actually started to have other people, like challengers, start to share their, pictures. We shared like transformation photos. We went live about like, how you access your on-demand. So that's my mom. And then we had one of the girls that went live cooking. And it's actually super fun. Like it's just really, really fun. And then the people get excited and they're like, I want to, you post about your actual group is going to be 3 weeks. And they kind of get a better idea of what the group is all about. So, Rose, would you like the guide for that? Okay, cool. Oh, there she is. She's going. So it's just something to go back. Something at the end of the month to, sometimes we might run it like the 23rd, depends. And then we can get people into that next group. So that's kind of helpful. And then the next thing, so the thing that I would say to people, if you're going to ask them to join one of these sneak peeks, is I just privately message somebody and I would say to them, hey, Sarah, I hope you're doing well. I know that you were interested in one of my challenge groups, but the timing wasn't right for you. I was wondering if you would be interested in joining one of our free What is a Challenge group. We're just going to share recipes, ideas, and kind of go over what exactly a challenge group is. Would you be interested in joining? And when I say free, people are like, sure, and they'll join. And there might be people in that group that won't join you, but they're still in the group. They still planted the seed. And when they're ready to join one of your challenge groups, they're obviously going to think of you because you added them to this group. Some of the girls on our teams might just flip the February 20th into March. And so they're still in the group and they're still seeing the posts and it's still coming up. So when they're ready to join you, they're going to join you because you were the person that invited them to that. So one other thing. So I'll send you that guide. And then the other thing on here that I like to share with people is your daily. So this is your monthly plan. And then this is your daily plan. So this is kind of like let me show you one of like when I was working. Okay. So when I was a full-time, working full-time, I really needed to kind of like divvy up what I was going to do in the day. So, this is what I do now because I stay home and I have a baby and I have 2 kids and I'm kind of at preschool. But for me, I knew that I needed to get my workout done first because this business really does come down to what you do on a daily basis. I kind of think of it as short-term sacrifices for long-term results. You kind of have to give up a couple things and do this business very consistently in order to get long-term results. And once you can do that and you realize that it's all about being consistent and doing these things when you really don't want to do them, that's really when you're going to see success. So, the first thing that I do is I got up early and I did, took Energize, obviously, and then I did my personal development. I am a horrible reader. I will read a page and then forget everything I read. So I have to listen to audio. So it really helps me. So I invested in the Audible app and I can download different books and I actually give my password out to my coaches. So we can listen to it together. But that really helps me. I try to do personal development with another coach. We pick a book and we go through it together because that also helps me. Then I do my workout. Then I post that I did my workout. And then I immediately do my invites because for me, I kind of think of my invites as washing your dishes. I hate washing the dishes. It's literally the worst thing in the entire world for me is to wash the dishes. I just would rather do anything but that. But I think about invites like your dishes. If you don't do your invites, it's kind of dirty dish after dirty dish after dirty dish after dirty dish piles up. And then it gets to a point where you're just forget the whole sink. I'm just not going to do it. And so for me, I'm I want to eat that frog. I want to eat the thing that I hate the most because I know it's going to move my business forward the most. And for me, that is working out and invites. So I immediately try to do invites. And even if I can do 5 invites, it doesn't matter. If I have time for 5 invites, then that's better than no invites. So I try to go on, I use TeamZ. I don't know if anyone uses that. I try to go on, my Facebook friend list, go through my, on your messenger, you can sort your friends through A, B, C, D, E. I try to go through A's, B's, and I just try to invite whether it's to, my challenge group that's coming up, my free, what is a challenge group, or maybe a coach sneak peek. And I try to keep invites super simple. And one of the reasons is because when I first started, I was definitely that person that sent out a throw up long email and got no response. So you want to just be simple, hey, how are you doing? I know we talked about this in the past, but I kept you on my list because you said that you might be interested. I have a challenge group coming up on April 3rd. We're going to share recipes, get ready for spring, summer that's coming just around the corner. Would you be interested in hearing more details? Super simple, short, and then I wait for that person to respond. From there, when my baby naps, I try to do my follow-ups and check in with my groups. And then maybe in the afternoon when he naps, I'll do, add new people to my network, which is going through those groups, finding new people, messaging new people, doing happy birthdays, which is just basically going to somebody during their birthday and saying, hey, happy birthday, I hope you have a great day, and sending them a message. And sometimes I might even send videos that just say like, hey, hope you have a great birthday, or like the voicemail. And that's a great conversation starter with somebody. You can even go back the next day and ask them, like, what did you do for your birthday? I check in with my online office, check in with challengers or coaches. I'm a huge texter. So if I do have a challenger, I ask them for their phone number, and then I just will text with them back and forth and kind of take it off of Facebook. And then, family time. And then when I was what I typically do at night is I work my business on Monday nights and Wednesday nights. And then, Tuesday, Thursday are off for my family. So these are different, schedules with people. If let's say you're working, you can do, I call it like the pocket of the power hour. That's really how I started to grow my business, was just doing little things every single day. And that's really how it started to compound over time, and just being, super consistent with it. And I think that's basically, these are just some other examples of people who work full time, power hours. Our team is huge. I don't know. Do you guys do power hours? Yeah. Okay. Our team, we do, sometimes we do live power hours together, just to get through, our list. And that really helps with getting things done. So that's basically it. I try to keep it super simple. I think if you try to overcomplicate it, it just gets too complicated. So when in doubt, just go back to the basics is kind of what I always say. I'm always trying to just do like a program. I'm going to Punta Cana in like 30 days. So I chose Chalene Extreme. And then I'm just, kind of sharing my story, journey through day 1. I'm on day 15 right now. And I think that really helps with going back to the basics, is just you doing one of the programs and sharing kind of the ups and downs of it. So that's it. Do you want to open it up for some questions?
Yeah, I was just going to say thank you.
Okay. Oh, I forgot she can't talk.
She's mute. Oh, thank you so much for sharing all of that. There are so many people that struggle with, especially working full time with scheduling. Yeah. But okay, does anybody have any questions? Open it up. Somebody has a question.
Don't be shy.
Tracy.
They said you look like Rose or Ariel.
Ursula took your voice.
Oh, are you sick?
No, it's her computer.
Oh.
I know.
I think, yeah, she's both.
Anybody have any questions? Okay. I'll ask a question if nobody's going to ask. Okay. So when you do invites, you said you reach out personally and you do the personal invites. Mm-hmm. Do you also do mass invites, like events where you can invite the 500 people and then post in there?
I personally haven't done that. No. Kind of like where you do like a challenge group and then you like send it out to people, right?
Yeah, but it's not a group, it's an event.
An event. Yeah, no. Yeah. I haven't done that, no. But okay. I know coaches that have done that.
Okay. I have another question too, if nobody else. So okay, for your 5-day, what is a challenge group? When you add people in, when you invite them to come in and they say, yes, they're interested, do they have to do anything like to qualify? Like I have an ongoing free group that I run monthly, 7 days. It always changes every month.
Yeah.
What it is. But like to qualify for a prize and stuff like that, I have them sign up with a free account under me.
I don't. I used to do that, but I typically don't. I usually will always ask, like, especially if they say they've done the programs and products, I will ask them, do you have a coach? And if they do have a coach, then I'll just ask them if, obviously, like, you should be with your coach if they have a group for you. But if they don't have a coach, then I will, add them into the group. And then as they're signing up, I will make sure that I give them like the step-by-steps to, make sure that they sign up with me to order a challenge pack, or go into like our free group. But I typically don't do a sign up before, because I'd rather have them get in the group,
Just be in there,
and just be in there and kind of like, feel like they can like, get in there. And so that's kind of how I do it.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Looks like Jessica has a question. Can you see that?
Oh yeah.
You mentioned rescheduling back out and saying, hey, I know we chatted before, reaching back out. But how often do you do initial invites to those you haven't spoken to before? And what do you do to transfer from free groups to customers? Sorry, baby's sleeping.
Okay. So if I haven't invited them ever before, I will, like, let's say I just connected with somebody. A lot of my leads are actually cold leads. So I'll just like find people in groups and stuff like that. And then I'll, we'll have a conversation back and forth. And then I just might be like, hey, I don't know if you have anything that you're doing right now. Or I might say like, I'm sure you probably have your own thing going on right now, but I wanted to let you know that I'm hosting I'm hosting like a 4-day group. We're going to focus on health and fitness. Would you be interested in learning more about it? So something super simple like that. Just kind of being like, I don't know if, another one that I like to say is, I don't know if you or anyone that would be interested, but I'm hosting a fitness group. We're getting ready for summer. Would you like some more details? So when people hear that you say, I don't know if you or anyone that it kind of takes the pressure off of that person, and it allows them to be like, well, I would be interested. Because most people will say like, I would be interested rather, or they might refer you to somebody that would be interested, which referrals are always good too. You're welcome. Totally understand about the baby sleeping. What type of free groups do you get the most involvement with? I did like one of the biggest ones I got the most involvement was a free crock pot group. Like everybody, there was a ton of people that wanted to do that. I think I called it like fix it and forget it. And I just posted like, who wants to join this free crock pot group? And like all these, people came from out of the woodworks, because it was free. So that's a good one. And then fitness wise, like a free, like 5-day there's ab workout, butt workout, like short things like that. I think the more simple you keep a free group and the shorter you keep it, the more interest somebody's going to want to join. So definitely the crock pot group was like a huge one. Yeah. Okay. So yes, the way that I invite is personal message, mostly Facebook. So majority of my business is Facebook. And I do post about my fitness, like different challenge groups and things like that on my page. I try to do like a coaching opportunity post on like a Sunday or a Monday. And the reason for that is typically because most people don't really want to go back to work on Monday or Sunday, and most people are on social media. So I try to do a coaching post about that on Sunday or Monday. And then the challenge groups, I try to post about, maybe once a week for one that I have coming up. And then anyone who likes my post, I will private message and just say, you know, hey, thanks for liking my post about the coaching opportunity. You know, have you ever considered it? Would you like some more information? And then I'll do the same for the challenge groups. So do I use Instagram? I do use Instagram. I have an Instagram account, and primarily back in like 2013, that was like all I used was Instagram. And I kind of rolled over to Facebook more because my challenge groups were on Facebook. More of like my niche personally was on Facebook. And so it was just easier to kind of get them into a free, you know, like a free group or a challenge group because they're already on social media, rather than like transition them from Instagram. But we do have a lot of people on our team that still use Instagram. So.
Anybody else have any questions?
You're welcome.
Going once. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Andrea, would Andrea or Andrea?
Andrea.
Andrea, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Would you mind like sharing with Rose or somebody like the schedule that you share with us as far as full-time mom and part-time?
Yeah. I think I have a Google Doc of one in our coach group that I can send her. And it's kind of like the pocket sort of thing where you do like a little bit in the morning, like things like that.
Yeah, and then the baby nap time. And
yeah, definitely. I can send you that.
All right. Well, I guess we're not going to keep everyone. Nobody else has any questions?
Thank you guys for having me on the call.
Thanks for talking to us. All right, guys.
Okay, bye. Have a great night.